right. In case you just joined us after the link was shared, there it is again. All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We're going to do brief introductions. I'm Christopher Brannon with the Coeur d'Alene Public Library. I am the 2023 koha-US president. And next we have Georgette.
I'm Georgette Rogers, Liberty Lake Municipal Library, and I am the KOHA 2023 treasurer.
Right. Bob.
Bob Benhoff. I manage Aspen Cat, which is a consortia in Colorado, and I am the 2023 vice president.
John.
I'm John Sturbins. I'm the executive director of the Detroit Area Library Network and the longtime koha-US financial manager.
Michelle.
I'm Michelle Spinney, and I am member services manager for the CLAMS Library Network, and we migrated on February 27th, so still pretty new.
Awesome. Jason.
Jason Raba. I'm the Seek and Find coordinator at the Southeast Kansas Library System. We've been using Koha since 2008.
Barbara.
I'm Barbara Johnson. I'm Technical Services Manager at Bedford Public Library in Bedford, Texas, and we've been on Koha since 2016.
Elise.
Hello, my name is Lisa Aiello. I'm the Partner Engagement Specialist at Bywater Solutions.
Heather. Okay, we'll go to Emily.
I'm Emily Lehman-Kusa. I'm the KOHA IT specialist for Montgomery County Public Libraries, and we've been on KOHA since 2021.
Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Marla. I'm with the Corona Public Library, and we've been with KOHA since 2013, and I am the koha-US secretary.
Kristen.
I am Kristen Ortelli. I am the Library Systems Manager at the Santa Fe Public Library, and I do not recall how long we've been with KOHA. It's been a couple of years.
And I'm a yes. George is looming behind the NEKLS.
Hello.
Hello.
I assume we're doing introductions. Sorry, I got here late.
That's all right.
I'm George.
That's all you need to know. Heather, are you able to share yet? No. Oh, okay. Oh, she typed it. Okay. All right. Heather Hernandez, Technical Services Librarian at San Francisco Maritime National Historical Park Research Center. Oh my gosh, that's a mouthful. Having some connectivity challenges. Implemented KOHA 2018-ish. All right. Boy, okay. No wonder you don't want to say it. Just copy and paste. All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm glad to have everybody here. It's nice to see everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. And first off, anybody have any announcements they'd like to share with the group? Anything exciting happening in your realm? I guess not. Okay, we will move on to new business. Education committee meeting time. We have officially moved the education committee meeting, and let me double check my calendar just to make sure. Our next meeting is actually going to be on Mondays. It's going to be and I did not put it in my calendar. I think it was the third Monday of each month. I think we're meeting on, let's see, did I get that right? Was not prepared with this one, sorry. I moved it on the events calendar, so let me double check that. Yes, on the 19th. So we are on the 19th. It is the third Monday of the month. And we will be doing that starting this month. So if you are on the education committee, please join us at that time. Short and sweet.
Are you guys open on the 19th?
What's that?
Are you guys open on the 19th?
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay. We are not.
Okay. The koha-US demo, I am going through some reports to look at our logins. We are officially revamping the demo a little bit for our koha instance. We want koha, we want our koha instance to be an example of how koha can run, and we want people to be able to log in, but we are going to be cutting back on who has access to admin rights to the demo, simply because we've had some people yank other people's rights to the site already once. So the purpose of this demo is mostly for people to be able to see how koha can be used in different ways outside of the demos that are already out there. You know, we have some demos that are just out of the box. We have some demos that are set up a specific way, and we wanted to give some alternative looks for koha demos. So that's the primary purpose. If you want to play more beyond that, then we recommend the sandboxes to play around with. So we are going through adjustments on that, but I have been working on reports to help look at all of our permissions. In fact, George and I, based off this work, George and I recorded a video about a permissions report that will be coming out soon. So be on the watch for that. Any questions about the demo site? Okay. Moving on to conference updates. We have been taking proposals for presentations, and I believe that closed today. And Bob, do you have any comments on those proposals?
We have 17 proposals in. I think you did 4 of them, Christopher. So I did 2 of them. So I think I'm okay with the number. We just, it would have been nice to get a little bit more diversity. So if anybody really wants to beat down our door and submit a proposal today, even if it's kind of a placeholder, it's technically, even though we closed it, it's still open. I think we could probably figure out a way. I haven't talked with Christopher about this, but it feels like I think we want as much of a diversity of proposals as possible. So I think we could probably figure out a way to make that work, given the amount of time we have in the conference. So I would encourage anybody considering to do that, to, even if you just get some placeholder in there, that'll indicate your interest, and we can go ahead and work with you to figure out details a little bit later.
All right. Yeah. I don't think we're opposed to having late proposals, but yeah, we set the deadline so that we can try and shape a schedule as soon as possible, so that we can get it out to everyone, so they can see what's on the agenda, and decide, make a decision about coming to the conference. We hope everybody comes to the conference regardless, but we do understand that you don't want to come and not have, you don't want to attend a conference that isn't something that you actually have an interest in. So that's why we try to get that schedule out there as soon as possible. Georgette.
I'm going to talk to Lauren. I had mentioned to her, we were talking at the CERC meeting that I may do a presentation for the CERC group. I have not had a chance to get it together. Life got crazy here. You talk about announcements. We had a baby engagement and two people leave. So I've got crazy. And so I didn't get it done. So let me talk with Lauren today. I'll see if she still wants me to do something, and we'll do a placeholder and figure out what we want to do.
Awesome. Sounds great. And just a reminder, you know, we're taking we're doing presentations. We're hoping to do presentations of a mixed bag. You know, we want to do stuff that's advanced for the seasoned koha people, but we also want to do presentations that are going to be, you know, basic starters for people that haven't been in koha or have not been in koha yet and are considering it. The conference is a great place for seasoned koha users to gather, but we also want to make it a place that we can encourage folks that are checking out koha to come and get to know us and get to know the community and also get to know koha a little bit better. So we want to be able to showcase a lot. We want to showcase the basics of koha, but we also want to show that what we can do beyond the out of the box features. So if you have something that you are chomping at the bit to share, please reach out to us. Again, we'll consider other presentations, but the sooner that you can get them to us, the better. But now we have something to work with, and we can get a schedule shaped and posted and start opening up registrations soon. So.
Yeah, I would just suggest if you know you're going to submit, and even if you're going to do it later today, just put something in now, get it in there. So because we have the conference committee meeting right after this, so that's helpful. So, and then we'll be able to slot you in for a spot, even if you're still working on fine-tuning details.
All right. Let's see here. Any questions about the conference before we move on? All right. We are officially through the new business. We've left this wide open for conversations about anything koha. So now is the time to start having that community conversation. Anybody working on anything exciting in the koha realm?
Just one thing I'll be reporting on. Some of you will recall I wrote a series of instructions that are still posted on the website for how to install koha within a specific set of conditions. With 2305 now out, I will be looking at revising them because the instructions that are currently there, while several years old and still very functional to the point that nothing needs to be changed, it's time to make sure they're up to date, referring to the proper operating systems and making sure that they all come together as they need to. So look, if you've been following that along, and I know some people in the community are, look for that because I hope to have that finished within the next month or so.
All right. What else? Is anybody working on any bugs? What was your last bug that you've worked on? There's a good topic starter. I'm looking at my list of bugs that I've been involved with.
We're working on a development that may not be of interest to everybody because it is for our prison libraries, but there could be some utility there where you would have the ability to print notices instead of just send them by email, and that would clear them from the queue. So that's something that we've been working actually with Catalyst out of New Zealand to develop.
Awesome.
I have a cataloging / authorities one, bug 22232, which is the use advanced cataloging editor for authority records. I see. I knew Heather would like that one. Heather, we have a lot of libraries who have been saying like, we really want to see that. So that's big one.
What was that number?
22232. And it's to use the advanced cataloging editor for authority records, because right now authority records just uses the basic editor. And was first submitted in 2019, but I'd say in the last 2 months, I've had it come up like over a dozen times. So I think this is a lot. Hopefully we can get some community movement on this one.
Sounds awesome.
This is related to the circulation meeting, and I don't know that there is actually a bug number for it. Well, I'm sure there is. I just don't know what it is. But Eileen at CLAMS is trying to get together enough people to do a development to make the holds notices digestible. And at the circulation meeting, we talked about that, and NEKLS is going to pledge $2,000 to that development. And I've already communicated that with Eileen. She's kind of coordinating because she actually has a quote from Biowater. She's going to try and get a quote from Catalyst. And I know that I believe, I don't know if it was Barbara or Vicky from Texas that also talked to her about that. And they're interested in helping. And I know that Bob or somebody else at Click said that they've offered to put some money to that. So
yeah, I said we could put 500 in there.
Yeah. So
what's the current goal right now?
I think that the quote from Biowater was 5,000, and I think that Eileen was going to contact Catalyst and see if they had a different amount. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
And I'm sure that there's a bug number on it. I just don't. I haven't been able to find it off the top of my head. Where there's, I know that that's a bug that I'm sure I'm CC on.
So they haven't put it in the devs page, Biowater's devs page yet.
No, I think it's something that CLAMS has just asked for recently because they haven't been on Koha as long as the rest of us. I don't think there's a development for it on the devs page, but it came up at the circulation meeting recently. So
I put the bug number in the chat. It's 8838.
Thank you.
Wow, that's an old bug number.
Well, it's been needed for a long time.
Yes, it has. Wow.
I see that Christopher Zorn just posted something about this on the Biowater partners list as well. So that looks like that's another one that might contribute too.
Wasn't Mickey at NEKLS, George? Wasn't Mickey Caldwell at NEKLS back then?
Yes, Mickey used to work at NEKLS in 2012. So.
Yeah, look how old that
and
is.
it looks like this is Mickey forwarded an email from Erica at Bonner Springs Library. She doesn't even work. Neither of those people work at NEKLS Library anymore. So yeah, it's an old bug. I mean, I was still in Idaho. We had been on Koha for 6 months, and we wanted it then too, but.
Just out of curiosity, since we've got a couple Biowater people here, is there a mechanism for submitting something that you would want to be able to add to the dev page, or do you just have to reach out to a Biowater person at this point? It would be nice if there was a mechanism.
There used to be one on the devs.biowatersolutions.com, and then we moved hosting providers for the website, and that feature went away. But I think we're moving it again to incorporate it with our regular website, which would give a contact form. So stay tuned, Christopher.
Okay.
Hopefully soon we'll have that feature.
Awesome. What else? Good things to bring up.
I have a couple things about 2211 that are just an important heads up for anyone who might be doing a Koha Aspen library or otherwise be doing patron hold management through the API. So one of them is I'll just copy the bug in the chat because I have it here. So for 2211, they have the new feature to allow patrons to request a hold cancellation, which makes that show up on like a report that staff can then pull off the hold shelf and check in. So for a Koha Aspen library, at least, if the customer does that through Aspen and through the Koha API, it just cancels it without putting it on that cancellation request report. So the bugs already, there's already a patch signed off on that. So fingers crossed it'll make it to master and get backported pretty soon. But if there's anybody else who's moving to 2211 pretty soon, that's just good to be aware of, that you'll need a separate report so that staff actually knows which holds have been canceled until that bug gets fixed.
Did you say you had another one too?
Oh, yeah, the other one, I'm not sure if there's a bug number for it yet. I'll check, but it's kind of related. If this one is if a customer is changing the pickup location of their hold. Again, this is an API specific one, so if you're connected to Aspen or something else, if they happen to like load the page right around the same time that the hold gets checked in and set to waiting, they might still have a button to move pickup location, even though they shouldn't once it's set to waiting. And right now Koha doesn't throw an error if they click that button. It just suddenly changes the pickup library to whatever library they changed it to. So we have a ticket in with Bywater for that. I don't know if any of the Bywater folks here happen to know the status of that off the top of their heads. But it's, you know, it's not great if the customer is pressing the button and all of a sudden all of the systems are saying the book is at a location that it's not actually at. So that's the other one.
Awesome.
Oh, and I see somebody commented, will that feature automatically be turned on, hold cancellation in Aspen? It's in the CERC rules. I believe the default is off, that you have to enable it to say, yes, waiting holds are cancelable.
I can just say that it's the bug is 33573. It's signed off, and that's add public endpoint for canceling holds. So that way we have the API credentials to send back to Aspen. And it looks like Jordan said they are working on that. So Emily, there is an update. We're working on it. I just don't know how quickly it'll be rolled out, but I'm assuming quickly since we now have the API call that we can get.
Awesome, thanks.
Also, Emily, Michelle was asking, are you noticing any latency issues on 2211?
So we just have it on our test server so far, so we haven't really stress tested it yet.
We're seeing like 3 seconds for each item to check in, and so it's not catching up, and we're just having a lot of speed problems, especially with check-in, patron search. Everything seems to be a lot slower in 2211.
Is that just in your test server? Do you have it, or do you have it
We
implemented?
were early adopter, so
Okay.
we're live.
I'm not even seeing that on my test server, which has less resources than production, so that's strange.
I would imagine if there is a latency issue, you wouldn't see it on a test server. I would think that it's probably a lot of usage that would be causing that, but interesting. So Michelle, are you supported by Bywater?
Yes,
And are they looking into that?
yes. They've given more max resources, and then we've had our internet provider up the speed from 20/20 to 50/50. And nothing's working. So there's a couple libraries that are on an island that it's a separate issue. It's a local firewall issue, but most of our libraries are seeing, especially with the check-in, is really slow. That it's at least 3 seconds per check-in. So it's causing other issues because things aren't catching up. So something to be aware of.
Has anyone else moved over to 2211 on a production server yet? Or Bywater, do you know of any other folks that are live that are experiencing similar issues?
Right now, it's just CLAMS. But as Michelle mentioned, we have filed a bug and we put the patch on their system. So that's what we're testing right now this week, is to see if it increases or not. So I'm trying to find the bug in our DevOps channel. I'll paste it in here if anyone else is interested, but the team pushed it through pretty quickly so they could test it.
All right. Yeah, Michelle, keep us posted. Let us know how things are going this week with that. You can, if you could let us know through the koha-US listserv, that would be great.
Okay, yeah.
I have the latest change on a bug that I had been involved with is 16.122. It needs a sign off. This bug is helping to retain a local use count in the item record. This is minor, but important. I think that we lose local use count in some ways. Let's see here. I'm looking at the bug right now. We're just wanting to keep this, this ticker, this counter in the record. It makes it a little bit easier so that we can avoid bloat on tables. So this is a nice little addition that's ready to be signed off. And let's see here, another one that needs sign off. Copy this. And that one, SMS number and SMS provider during self-registration. So this one, some libraries would prefer the option for patrons to choose their notification preferences and set up their SMS information during registration. So that introduces that functionality. So that's ready for a sign off. So if you have the ability to do that, feel free to go in there. That one I'm looking forward to, because I think patrons should be able to set that up during registration. Anyone else?
This isn't a bug question. It's a question about, when Jesse mentioned Slack, it occurred to me, we had talked a couple of months ago about koha-US Slack, and I was wondering on how that process is going.
Say the question again. Sorry, you cut out over on my end.
Oh, sorry. So a couple of meetings ago, we talked about Slack and changing around the koha-US Slack channel. And I was wondering, this isn't a bug related issue, but it was a question about how that's going and what the progress is on that project.
Well, no progress. We were hoping to move over to in try and convert the koha-US Slack channel to more of a koha-community Slack channel. There's already a koha-community Slack channel out there. We don't know who the owner is. We thought we had tracked down the owner and it turned out it wasn't. So we're back to square one. The idea, for those of you that weren't part of that conversation before, koha-US has a Slack channel, and really there's actually very little activity going on there. And I you know, Bywater's got their partners Slack channel, but I was thinking it would be more useful if we hosted a community channel that everybody could be a part of, rather than it just being our tight-knit little group of koha US. In fact, we don't have a lot of people on there. I don't know if it's just because it's been mostly officers and a few extra people. I don't know if it was widely publicized in the US members or what, but there's just not a lot of people hanging out there. I think, you know, I mostly see activity on the partners for Bywater, but I wanted to make a better use of that resource rather than just kind of saying, we're not getting any use out of it, let's ditch it. So that was the hope. Right now it's at a standstill. We still don't know who owns the koha community Slack channel. And you know, that owner may not even be in the community for all I know. I haven't heard anything about that, and there's really no way to investigate other than ask in the community if somebody has that. So if anybody has an idea on how to track that person down, that would be great.
I'm pretty sure I've seen a couple of times in the IRC where people have said, who owns this? And there's never any response. So yeah. Robin thought she owned it because at one time NEKLS was the registrar for koha-community.org, but Robin looked and she doesn't have it. So I guess nobody does. It's a mystery. It's a mystery wrapped in a Slack channel.
All right, so Fred has joined us. Now we will turn this meeting over to Fred.
Well, then I'm leaving.
Oh, man. Oh.
Hi, Fred.
Sorry, clicked the wrong thing. No, if you turn it over to me, I'm leaving.
Anybody have any other bugs that they'd like to share?
I've filed a couple of bugs since the last meeting. I guess we've talked about them. Just some CSS changes to the staff client, but I don't think we talked about them in a general meeting, so I'll share those here. And it's probably easier to show you what I've changed than to explain. So I'll share my screen as well. And I don't know, I filed the bugs because I didn't like how the search header looked as much. But I'm just offering those out there because they have the CSS in case anybody else wants to use them. If the community decides to pick them up, great. If not, it's out there, and I may need to just add the CSS to the wiki. But what I changed was just the header bar up here. I gave it a little more breadth, and I also re-added the highlight back. And this is a little different than what that CSS actually does because I decided I didn't like the yellow, so it looked too lemon-limey. So then I made it more limey and then added some extra shadow there. But in general, those two bugs have the CSS that'll pull this off versus what it looks like without CSS, which is this. So for us, it was an accessibility concern. firstly, when you lose an outline in an input, that's not good for accessibility. You can't tell that you're focused in the, and then I had concerns about the lack of space between the input and the top menu, because I have librarians that struggle with mousing. So I know that they're gonna like try and hit that and accidentally click up there, and some of our links take them outside of Koha. So both of those were minor accessibility improvements, I think, to that top bar.
Yeah, I liked those improvements. I took advantage of what you put out there, and actually I did a black outline on the actual field, but I kept the underlines the same. I liked the black. It looked a little sharper and it stood out a little bit better on there. But yeah, George, you did some modifications to that header as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I can give everybody a preview. We're going to do this as a video in a few weeks. We're Christopher and I, for our Thursday videos, are getting a little ahead of ourselves because I'm going to be off for a couple of weeks in July, and we're trying to get ahead of ourselves. So the next video we record, let me share my screen and show you what I've been working on. This is without any custom CSS other than a little bit to put the NEKLS logo up here. But I've been working on the CSS to do this, to set up brand colors that match our logo colors, and to put them on, you know, the different pages, and make it match what we typically do. What I did for the outline that Jason, you know, did the bulk of the work on figuring out how to stick that in there, is I just made it black. But I'm doing this all with CSS and CSS variables, so I'll be able to put out a package of CSS that you can stick in there and then pick your 5 or 6 different colors. I don't remember how many colors it is. I think I picked 5 colors: dark, medium, medium light, and light. And then you can just set your colors codes in there, and then it'll find all the places to stick those colors into Koha. Is what I'm trying to work to.
Nice.
So it'll be something that if I can get it all to work right, it'll work really slick. So you can pick whatever crazy colors you want. Pick every color white so that Koha is just an ocean of sheep standing on a hillside in a snowstorm.
Please consider high contrast colors, please.
Yeah, I did. I took the dark one of the colors from the NEKLS logo, and I used an online tool to get colors that match, that are complementary in a monochrome palette, that point out, you know, which ones are the best contrasting colors for that base color. So I did have that in mind.
You can also download, I'm using Color Blindly, which is a Chrome extension, and that'll let you see what it looks like with different types of color blindness.
Oh, that's cool. What was it called? Color Blindly?
Color Blindly, yeah, all together.
You have a link to that?
I can find it.
Yeah, but then I got to use Chrome.
Yeah, Yucko. I'm sure you can find one in Firefox too.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. So I found Color Blindly. That was pretty easy. So
Elise is asking in chat, when is the every other Thursday and Monday Minutes collab happening? We have not.
You know, we had a perfect opportunity to do that in September in Kansas, and I don't know what did we do?
Nothing.
Did they go to a different bar than the one we went to?
Apparently.
I don't know. We got to figure that out sometime. I don't know how we missed that opportunity.
The thing is, if we collab, you know,
then which day will it be on?
Right. It would have to be a day in between somewhere.
Like Wednesday, 3 a.m. Like the Simon and Garfunkel album, Wednesday morning, 3 a.m.
So, yeah, we'll have to reach out to them and do something. It might, you know, it'll have to be more than a few minutes, but less than our 20 to 30 minute shows that we do. So we'll have to find a middle ground somewhere in there. Let's see here. And Jason posted his link. Thank you. There's some great tools out there to look at everything with. I had been doing, not Koha related, I had been doing some work on our website, and somebody threw something at me and I was able to put it up within an hour after looking at it and playing with it. It's a plugin for WordPress. I think it's called Userly, which has been a neat little tool. Makes an icon on your website. You can put it somewhere that's non-obtrusive and make it so that you can adjust things on the screen for people's needs. It's a nice little addition to the website. I see some heads nodding that you've seen that as well, possibly. It would be nice. It would kind of be nice if Koha had some sort of plugin to do the same thing. It would be great if the OPAC had that flexibility. All right. We have about 15 minutes left. We've got some good topics that we've talked about here. Anybody finding anything else interesting in their testing of 2211? I know that we're, you know, aside from our one early adopter here, we're all still in 22.5 or earlier, or unless Fred, are you in 2211 yet, or further?
Yes, when the new one came out, I decided I'd like to remain on old stable. So I changed and upgraded, and it sounds like everyone else, or most people, are still not on 2011. I'm having some weird things going on when I try to stage records and then manage the stage records. And I'm sorry, I wasn't really prepared to talk about this, so I don't have details, but you know, I upload something and then invites me to go to the jobs queue. And then I go to stage, mark management, and again to the jobs queue. Sort of, well, it gives a percentage, but it's stuck at 0. So I cancel it and then go back to the jobs queue eventually, you know, refresh. And whoops, wait a minute, everything's been uploaded, added to the catalog or imported.
I've found the jobs queue has been a little confusing to me.
Yes.
In that I haven't looked at it. It doesn't seem to be like a live status. I think you have to refresh the page or something.
Yeah, I've tried that and it just doesn't seem to refresh.
Yeah, I've noticed some odd behavior with it. I'm not completely satisfied with how it looks and performs. I understand the concept of it, but it's still leaves me wanting more, I think.
Yeah, and when I'm in the jobs queue, I can't get back to, let's say, stage or import easily.
Yeah, I have not found that the information there has been 100% reliable. Yeah, I would look at it and see that you know, on our test server with 2211, I would throw something, do a batch modification, and it looks like nothing has happened. But then if I go look at the records, oh, it has happened. It's just not telling me. So it's a little wonky still.
I'm glad I'm not the only person who's having trouble or being confused by it.
But then again, I'm not a cataloger, so I don't know. Maybe there's something special in the cataloging realm that I don't understand.
Not that I can think of.
Heather, have you played with 2211? Ah, she has to type. Oh,
Can you hear me?
I can.
All right.
Yay.
I've only played with 2211 a teeny weeny bit on some demos, but I am really looking forward to it. But we're being upgraded next week.
Okay. Well, prank around with the job queue and let me know if you see any oddities with it. You know, do batch modifications or something like that, and give us your thoughts on that.
Do you know when Whitewater is going to migrate everyone?
No, I need to press in and get us on a schedule. I need to know when. It's still a mystery.
Yeah, we're set for next week. We're set for the 20th.
I know
Here
that
at Corona.
I asked I've asked for a date in August, and I know that a lot of the other people I've talked to have also asked for dates in August, because right now for public libraries, there's a lot of summer reading program going on, and a lot of people don't want to have to do training for an upgrade and doing an upgrade while they're in the middle of what, you know, for some libraries is their busiest programming time of year. So
That sounds prudent.
I asked for a date in August as well and was firmly told no. So it looks like we're we're probably upgrading the third week of July. It sounds like they're doing June, July, but they want to keep them out of August. So my plan is to push it till July, like push it off as long as I can.
Give those early adopters more time to shake it up.
Wait a minute, it's the old stable. All those bugs should be figured out by now.
You missed Michelle's little update, so we'll have to see how that shakes out. She's going to keep us posted on the listserv.
Yeah, sorry, the new residents are here, and I really want to talk to them for about 20 minutes.
Right. Any other topics on the upcoming upgrade or bugs that you're playing with? I'm glad I don't have to provide all the bug discussions. I will, but since it's silent out here, I'm going to throw this one out here. This is one that I have noticed. Not a huge impact on people in general, but I have some jQuery that depends on this, and I've had to work around it. But I've noticed a bug in search results, at least on the staff side. I didn't check the OPAC, but on the staff side, if you do a search, you usually end up with in the breadcrumbs. If you get results in the breadcrumbs, you get your search criteria in single quotes. If you don't get any results on both on the breadcrumbs and on the main page, says the main page says that you didn't turn up any search results, but both on the breadcrumbs and the page, it puts your search criteria in a single and double quote, which is really odd. I grab that information so that I can put links on the left navigation panel to try other resources. And so I was grabbing the information that was in the single quotes, but now there's double quotes, and that was breaking that. And so now I have to strip that out of there in order to make that work again, which is really odd, but it is obviously a bug, not a huge important bug to everybody, but one nonetheless. So I had pointed that out in a bug hopefully that can get fixed, but it isn't breaking the bank. Like I said, I found a workaround to strip those double quotes. It took me a little while to figure a way around that, but just thought that was interesting. And I noticed that that bug is in our current version. I don't know if it's any further back. It's in 2205 and it is in 2211. So it's been an ongoing bug. I don't know when that cropped up. I know it must be fairly new, because when I wrote the initial jQuery, I don't think that was happening. Anybody else? Got 6 minutes left to talk about something of interest.
We don't have a bug or anything for it, but one of my libraries has suggested, and this is probably a huge can of worms, so I'll just bring it up and see what people think, but trying to put undo buttons in certain spots. So if you do something by mistake, you would just click the button and then it would reverse it, which sounds really nice, but I also feel like there's a level of complexity with each individual case for what you want to undo. And so it's probably would be lots of different work that has to be done for each situation.
Yeah, on that topic, and I can't find the bug. If somebody wants to try and find it, there's a bug. The big thing on undoing something right now is that deleted stuff. Particularly if you're undoing like a deleted item. I don't know if you're talking about some other issues, but like if you wanted to undo a deleted patron or undo a deleted item, the problem with that right now is that deleted item gets stuck in another table and it breaks a lot of things. And there is a bug out there. Is that the bug, Jason?
I think that's the one you're talking about.
There's a bug, if this is the one. Yeah, it's in discussion. Where we're talking about keeping deleted information in their tables, in their respective tables, but flagging them as deleted. And this is going to, if we go in this direction, this is going to make a huge impact on the way that we store data, clean up data, but also gives us a possibility down the road to do undos, because we can just basically remove the flag and boom, the item is back in place and in play. I would love us to go in this direction. And I think the more people that chime in on this bug, the better. We need to generate a lot of interest in this, but it is going to take a lot of work, because you not only have to find a way to implement this, you have to find a way to marry this in with existing data that's in another table. So the question is, does an upgrade try to reincorporate those deleted tables back into the original table somehow, or what happens? Because that is going to be a challenge. Do we treat it as just from this point forward the deleted things, and don't worry about the stuff that's in the deleted tables that that's a lost cause? How does that work? But there is a lot of work that has to go into for the programmers to update everything to work in on those deleted items in a different way altogether. So, but I would really love to see this one move along. We haven't had any movement on this particular ticket since February of this year. So if you have any comments, if you have any input on it, or just want to be kept up to date on it or show interest in it, please CC yourself or add yourself to the list on this bug, or give +1s on comments. We would love to get some more feedback and generate more interest in this. Two minutes left.
On that same note of deleted items, we had our catalogers meeting yesterday for our network, and the staff told us that they're able to delete another library's items or like anything. And even though they can't edit them, they can delete them. And I was wondering if you all were aware of that. Is that like a common Koha thing? Because we don't want them to delete each other's items. I couldn't find any permission that said anything about deleting, just editing. So I kind of thought that was odd. If you can't edit, but you can delete.
I have not heard of that. However, I do think in theory, it would be easy enough to hide that delete link if that item's library doesn't match the library that you're logged in as. It might be doable in jQuery. Oh, Jessica was going to say something and then she
I was, because I'm thinking of library groups, because in library groups, you can limit item editing by group, but you can't limit deleting of that item.
That's really weird.
Bob, that was one that we worked on for Click, I think, years ago to get that one in there. Let me check, Michelle, and see if there's any other bugs that are connected to this one to see if somebody submitted something for the deleting.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like we have some jQuery right now that's assisting while some later code is coming down the line. So there's at least a temporary fix for that.
Okay, great. I have a ticket open, so hopefully they'll just say, we'll give you some jQuery till then.
Well, and I have jQuery too that prevents staff at one library from deleting the things owned by another library. So sounds like another video, Christopher.
Sounds like it, yes. All right, well, we have gone past the 9:30 mark, so we are going to call it quits for this month. We have a conference committee meeting starting up right after this. We'll start in 4 minutes here, give people a chance to say their goodbyes, and want to thank everybody for joining us today. It was a great conversation, and we'll see everyone next month.
Bye.